You were saying we don't de-evolve, and you've said that before, we don't go back in consciousness. But what would you say then about the civilizations that were on Earth before that apparently existed, that were higher states of consciousness, that have then not survived, and then we're now here with supposedly lower states of consciousness?
This is a very big subject.
Right.
And, you know, yeah, it's a very big subject. What we don't know for sure is who those civilizations were. Were they actually us? Were they only partially us? You know, there are a lot of questions that are, you know, unanswered about that. What we can say is that whatever version we are of ourselves right now, we are evolving from our inception, from the starting point of whatever it is that we are now, and how we came into existence on this plane. We're advancing, and while it appears like we're regressing, we're not. The collective consciousness is, in every moment, is spending, you know, with every moment that we're spending with ourself, experiencing ourself in reality, we are becoming more adept. And sometimes that requires us deviating into all kinds of areas to explore and experiment what it's like to abandon ourselves to discover something. And sometimes those pathways can lead us into very destructive experiences. And on the surface level, or up close, you're like, oh no, we're de-evolving here. We're going backwards. But if you pull back and you just watch over time, it's like, oh, you know, we went there, but then we went out there, but then we came back in because we realized out there wasn't where we needed to go. And, you know, we go on this journey, but it's always moving forward with greater wisdom. With greater wisdom. And so everything that's happening on the planet now, and the, you know, with the pending annihilation event on the table, you know, there is definitely one of the cards that's on the table that says annihilation. I think right now we're probably the closest that we've been in our existence with everything that's going on. It's not to say that it's going to happen. It's just a possibility. It's all part of the way in which we wake up. You know, we manufacture these events to place immense pressure on us because we only change in crisis. We only seem to want to evaluate things from the bottom of the barrel all the way up when we're about to lose it all. You know, it plays out in relationships. Oh, you're about to leave me. All right, I'll look at myself. You know, it just seems to be the way that we're designed. It's a very interesting thing. That we only really commit to making change when shit's hitting the fan. And we're rapidly moving towards a whole lot of poo hitting that fan. And we're all going to cop it in the face. Oh. Sorry for the graphic analogy. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. Did I answer the question? Oh, how about previous civilizations? I'm not convinced that those previous civilizations are the same genetic composition as we are. Is my answer to that. Yeah.
Would you say there were higher states? There were higher states of consciousness, but not human?
I'd say that they were, you know, very closely human, and maybe in much higher states. But there have been annihilation events. Annihilation events or ascension events. And either way, there's like a cycle of, starting over. And, I'm not terribly invested in the whole sort of Darwinian view of evolution. I believe that we evolve. But, the leap from sort of ape to Neanderthal to, for primitive man to, I think there's been a whole bunch of things that have happened in between all of that. And I think that there has been life on this planet for billions of years. Why just us? The planet's billions of years old. Why just one at this point in time? Like, the universe is so full of life and consciousness. We've been indoctrinated into this idea that it's only us, which is far more science fiction to me than the universe filled teeming with life. Why would there be more planets that we can observe than there are grains of sand on this planet that can inhabit life? And for there to not be, it's impossible mathematically. Mathematicians go, impossible. It's mathematically impossible that we are the only. And if we're not, and there are races that are, let's just say, 1 million years older than we are. Look how far we've come in 200 years. If there's a race that is 1 million, let's say even 100,000 years more advanced than we are, what are they doing? Can they travel through time and space, through wormholes? And we're already stuffing around with that stuff. Haven't quite worked it out, I think, but we're mucking around with it. And where are we getting that information from? I mean, they're openly talking about it now. All of a sudden, the US government is openly talking about, the threat of an alien invasion. We've met them. We know. Do you guys know about this? Mainstream news, Google it. They're talking about it all the time now. Like it's just a fact. Oh yeah, aliens are real. There was no public announcement. We're coming clean. Or any of that. They just start talking about it, just to mess with everybody's heads. I'm serious. Google it. They're talking about it. They've got a whole agency now. Like their space program has a rocket, and in the corner, what looks like a UFO, the badge that the people, there's all kinds of agencies. They're just slowly introducing it. And, anyone that's, has any opinion about what's happening outside of the Earth's atmosphere, looking outward, that studies it, will tell you it's impossible for there not to be. So think about that. They say there are as many grains of sand on the planet, or there are as many planets out there that we can observe that can like Earth, like planets, as there are grains of sand. If I could pick up a handful of sand, we're probably looking at a few 100,000 grains of sand, and maybe more, in just my hand. Like the number is unfathomable. Trillions. It's, so, it's, we have to talk about this. We have to. Because if we don't, we stay small. We stay small. And there is a massive lid on our consciousness and our psyche, because we are ridiculed when we try to have these conversations. But when we think about it and we talk about it and we open to the possibility of it, there's this kind of like, you know, the possibility of all the different, you know, the universe is, we can't even imagine how old the universe is. Imagine what a race would look like that are 100 billion years older than us. They would appear like a god. They've been around for a long time. They've worked it out. They're creating universes. We are likely to be a reality within the consciousness of one of these beings that belongs to a race. That's how big they are. Yeah, I mean, you know, what I'm doing is because where does evolution take us? What does evolution look like? Where are we going here? Where are we going? Yeah. We are in the mind of God. You know, if God is everything, if we can embrace the concept of God, what would define God? All places, all time, beyond time, all organizing, all knowing. That pretty much covers everything. So it would be fair to say that God is everything. And if I exist, then I am inside of God. If God is everything, that I'm of it. So what am I? I am a funny thought in the mind of God. And this is what all the ancient rishis and masters have always said. We exist within the divine, and the divine exists within us. If you wish to understand what you are, understand that you are existing within the divine. That you are existing within the mind of that which created everything. Now, if we can consider that as a possibility, and that feels kind of good and right and expansive, we can cultivate a relationship with being within the mind of the divine, and this is how we awaken to the experience of it. And in our journey, ever deepening our intimacy with the divine, what becomes revealed to us is there are layers and layers and layers that we move through in order to get closer and closer and closer to the supreme expression. And in those layers we can observe extraordinary intelligence and beings that, you know, it's not possible for us to conceive of their level of creative power and intelligence. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility to consider that this universe this existence is so old. It may as well be infinite. It's that old. Because we can't fathom the amount of time that there are races of beings that have been around for that long, evolving for that long. As far as we're concerned, they may as well be God because they are so close to it, having evolved for so long that the distance between them and that which created them is almost imperceptible to us. But to them, it would still be a vast distance. But to us, they would just appear, well, you're pretty much it. Right? And this is how the ancient Vedic texts are explained. There's a hierarchy of intelligence. And the great ancients, so they're referred to, these beings. There are two things that I'd like to share with you right now. The first is that if you would like to join us for these wisdom sessions, which all the videos are recorded at on a weekly basis, all you need to do is register for our newsletter below. And the second thing I want to share with you is that we offer a free 7-day transformation program that you can access at ritam.studio, which is a part of a much bigger set of teachings, discourses, courses and programs and retreats that are all available to our members. So if you're interested in taking this teaching to another level, then we welcome you over to Ritam Studio. Please join us.